Good evening, thank you. My name is Rob Castagna, Director of Health, Physical Education, and Athletics, and I'm honored to be with you here this evening as we celebrate our Senior Athletic Awards. At first, I need to point out to you the emergency exits. There's 3 exits in the back, there's exits on the side. If there should be an emergency, look for an administrator with a red lanyard, and we will give you instructions on how to proceed. It's important for us to take time to reflect on this year, to celebrate all of the accomplishments and show our sincere appreciation for the many opportunities that we had to compete together. A special thank you to everyone who shared their pictures for the montage that was playing in the cafeteria, and a big shout out to Marky and Nitschka for putting that together for us. If you did not get to see it, no worries, we'll have it posted on the athletic website before the weekend for you to enjoy, and you can go back and watch it over and over. Please rise for the playing of our national anthem. We are extremely thankful that we have an administration and a Board of Education that fully supports our athletic program. I would like to acknowledge our superintendent, Dr. Jen Lamia, our school board president, Mr. Scott Levy, and our principal, Mr. Chris Walsh. And I know Mr. Walsh would like to say a few words to you at this time.
All right, good evening, and I have to tell you how excited I am to not be watching this from my kitchen like we have done in the last 2 years. Really excited that we are able to do this in person, and I'm so happy for all of you seniors who are able to do this with your families in person. I think it really is something special. Rob, thank you again, and congratulations to all of our senior athletes who are being honored here tonight. It's been such a historic year for the Bobcats, and when I look back on it, I'm really so happy that you were able to compete at such high levels and the legacy that you're going to leave here at Byram Hills. What I enjoyed most about athletics this year, for me, was really seeing how all of you engaged, particularly our seniors, with how lucky and grateful your faces seemed while you were competing. It was clear to me that you were enjoying every moment of it, and that something that had been taken away from you, that you had gotten back, you weren't going to lose the opportunity to cherish it. And I really appreciated seeing you the way that you went through that. So from the beginning of tryouts to the final buzzer of the season, right, you had this sense of gratitude that sort of was pervasive in everything that you did. I was so happy that our fans were able to get back and the cheering sections that I saw throughout the year, whether it was from our homecoming week all the way through to our unified basketball games, there was something that was so special and brought our school together in ways that only athletics can do. So I do have many fond memories of this year in terms of athletics, but as a principal in my 6th year, one of those memories is sort of going to make up a core memory for me as a principal. And Ted, I am sorry to use this example against Poughkeepsie in our sectional basketball game. It was the first time that we were able to get all of our spectators back in the gym. And you could just feel this energy throughout the gym. And just as introductions were done, they started to play the national anthem, and it was the instrumental version. And all of a sudden, our student section, just in unison, started to sing together. And listening to everybody come together as a class with that spirit, Jared, I want to appreciate and thank you for probably getting it going. But just to see that sense of pride and school spirit come together, it really gave me chills as a principal. And that's really what's so important about the way that we engage in athletics here and the way that we support all of our student athletes. So again, Ted, even though it didn't end the way we wanted it to, that memory is going to be, for me, one of the core memories of my time as a principal when I look back on it. So for our athletes, as the years go by, you're going to look back on your time as a student athlete and the relationships that you've built with all of those people around you, particularly those who are in your grade and were on those teams. Those are going to be relationships that last a lifetime. Whenever you see a former teammate, no matter what the time or place is going to be, it's going to take you back to your time here with them and what you did together. That shared experience will last a lifetime. I have friends that I played basketball with, and we get texts every day. And just knowing that they're there, that they're that close, without having gone through high school athletics with them, I would miss a significant portion of my life. And I am so appreciative that I was able to have that time, and I hope that you can reflect and appreciate that too as you go forward. So your participation in athletics for Byram Hills, it's connected you to our school community. It's done it in a way that academics just really can't do. And I might not be popular for saying that, but there's nothing that builds school pride and school spirit the way that athletics do. And competing as a Bobcat, it connects you to all of those athletes who have donned the red, white, and blue going back to 1966. So we will never forget your class of 2022 and how you contributed to our shared legacy. I thank you for being a model for the underclassmen. It was so difficult to do in what you were handed, but you did it in a way with class, dignity, and style that I would be happy if other classes repeated. So congratulations, and go Bobcats.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Seniors, you get a lot of credit for your dedication and your sacrifice. And you show that through sports day in and day out. You fully deserve the credit, all of it. However, you're not alone in showing that sacrifice and that dedication. Please be sure to thank your parents, for they are the silent strength behind for all that you do. I can speak to that, having been an athlete, and I knew my parents were there every step of the way, and it meant the world to me. And I know it means the world to you. At this time, I will ask for you to thank and applaud your parents as we join you. Parents, thank you. And thank you for your continued support for our program and for our student athletes. Here with us this evening are most of our coaches. They accept an awesome responsibility each day to work with you after school and on weekends. And sometimes the seasons, we're thankful when they go longer than they're scheduled for. Our coaches are difference makers, and we're proud to have them with us. Please join me in applauding all that they do to help our athletes reach their full potential as student athletes and as citizens. Thank you, coaches. I'd like to say a special thank you to the Bobcat Boosters. We appreciate all of the support for our athletic program, and a special shout out to Jessica Rosh for her many years of helping us build upon our Bobcat pride. Thank you, Jessica. Also with us, Mr. Brett Alcantara, our Assistant Athletic Director. Mr. Alcantara, who's in the back running the show, he's responsible for the operations, the day-to-day operations for every varsity and junior varsity team, from the second the school bus, if it's a home event and we're playing a home game and that school bus comes onto the campus, to the second that bus leaves the campus. So thank you, Mr. Alcantara. Annalise Galgano, our office secretary, who is with us here tonight, helping us set up for this event. A special thanks to her for coordinating all of the schedules for all of the 60-plus teams that we have with the transportation department and all the other schools within Section 1 that we compete against, and managing all of the communications that come into our office on a daily basis, whether it be phone calls or faxes or emails. And helping us keep a solid foundation for everything else that's behind the scenes. Thank you, Ms. Galgano. I wish every high school athletic program in America could have an athletic trainer like Dan Santora. Dan is laser focused. And I don't say that lightly. He is laser focused on keeping everyone safe. The athletes, the student athletes here, they know that from the minute they step foot on this campus to compete here. Thank you, Dan, for always being here, literally around the clock, and for giving our student athletes the best care possible. Thank you, Dan. Every successful organization has a go-to guy. Our go-to guy is there for us whenever we need an event supervisor, a bus driver, a scoreboard operator, or a bus driver, a chaperone, a team photographer, or a bus driver, a game day announcer, or whatever the role needs to be filled for that day. Usually, the majority of the things that I mentioned that this individual fills, they're all done on the same day. So, Harry Malice, you're our go-to guy. Harry, I know you're here somewhere. Harry, we appreciate what you do, and every single day when you call the office and you say, how can I help? So thank you, Harry. A few minutes ago, I mentioned that it's important for us to reflect on this year. And then I started thanking certain people for their valuable contributions to our team, the Byram Hills team. The many contributions of team members working together, as you know, is what allows us to be successful in what we do and what we set out to do. So tonight, we will focus on how teamwork made this senior class successful. Now to reflect on the year. Interscholastic athletics started on Monday morning, August 23rd. Hundreds of high school student athletes came together that morning with the hopes of joining a team and making that team stronger. Many of you in the room here were here on that very first day in August. I remember how excited everybody was. Mr. Walsh just alluded to it, that we were back to full swing for the fall season. Back to our regular schedules. We had much success in the fall. It was so successful, it ended with our school district and the town of Armonk organizing a parade. The parade was to celebrate that success and the undefeated girls varsity tennis team. We were all fortunate enough to witness the first Byram Hills girls team state championship in school history, and that was fun. What a way to start the year. Seniors on the team, if you're, or anybody who is here from that team, please stand up. Please stand up one last time. Let us applaud you. Are you here in the room? I know you're here. I know you're here. So the success from that tennis team, from your team, inspired all other teams to reach higher, to dig deeper, and to come closer together. Fast forward to last week. Our boys' tennis team, still riding on the rush of positive energy from the fall, clinched the Section 1 championship on the very same tennis courts as the girls did at Harrison High School. Yeah. The boys defeated Edgemont in a 3-2 thriller, an absolute thriller. The very next day, they took a 3-hour bus ride to a sub-regional contest up in Binghamton to play men Endwell from Section 4, and we took home the victory with a sweep 5-0. So the boys are still rolling. They'll play again Monday, June 6th, this coming Monday, for the New York State quarterfinals in Middletown versus Red Hook High School. Coach Raccanelli, we have a scouting report for Monday?
We do.
Is it a good one?
My boys will be ready to go.
I need a more detailed answer. Ethan, Jake, Ryan, Aiden, you guys here, stand up, give me something. Is the team ready? We ready? Yeah. I heard you had a great practice today, so we're cheering for you. We're hoping it works out. So a little thing to add about that, okay? So if we take home another state title, we're getting close. I'm confident that the BH team, right, our team, our big team that I alluded to a few minutes ago, will pull together the resources to celebrate another parade. But let's get past Monday first, okay? On November 14th, after the parade for the girls, I walked over to Dr. Lamia to check on her because she had just carried a very big drum down Main Street. And she looked at me and said, "That was challenging, but I can't wait to do it again." So maybe next time, if there is a next time, we'll just give Dr. Lamia a smaller instrument to carry. Thank you, Dr. Lamia. And wish the boys well before Monday, please. In addition to celebrations, there are many life lessons learned through athletics. Mr. Walsh alluded to that as well a moment ago. I'd like to share something that I observed last Friday, along with some of you here in the room. I was at Torn Valley Stadium for the girls lacrosse team championship, the Section 1 team championship. We were the 3 seed competing in that game last Friday. I was fortunate to be on the sideline for this game. With about 3 minutes remaining, a timeout was called. At that point in the game, the scoreboard, the electronic scoreboard told us it was out of reach with the amount of time left on the clock. But thankfully, the senior leaders on the team called a huddle during that timeout. The seniors, in their own words, trying to hold back their tears, delivered words of inspiration to their team. I would like to share some of what I heard in this very powerful moment. Forget the scoreboard. Look where we are. We are in the Section 1 finals, and look how far we have come to get here. Let's enjoy every minute that we have left in this game together. Leave everything that you have on the field. We are proud to be here. And that is a life lesson, and that is Byram Hill Strong. Girls, please stand up. And I want to thank you for never giving up or believing in each other as the seconds ticked off that game clock, and for standing just 5 minutes later, accepting the Section 1 finalist trophy. And I firmly believe that you stood there and you applauded the team getting the championship trophy with class. First class all the way. And I know you'll never forget that time that you spent on the field together, and you won't forget those moments. And we're proud of you. Congratulations on an awesome season. Now we'll move on to a portion of the program where we will give out some awards to some of our seniors. And the first is the Scholar Athlete Award, and it will be given out by Coach Racconelli and Coach McNamara. The Lynn Rosenthal Memorial Scholar Athlete Award.
Good evening, everyone. And just before I get going on some comments here, congratulations to every senior athlete in this room. You guys had an amazing career, and you're at the end here, and great job to all of you. Whether I coached you or not, well done. Okay. The Lynn Rosenthal Memorial Scholar Athlete Award is given to an athlete whose passion and dedication and love for sport is celebrated each year. Lynn was a fantastic student athlete here at Byram Hills, whose life was cut tragically short in a car accident. With this award, we celebrate her memory and zest for life she shared with everyone she came across. This year's award winner is nothing short of remarkable. Her dedication to her studies and selflessness shown to her peers is inspiring to everyone she meets. One of her most noteworthy gifts she gave to Byram Hills during her time here was her work with the Science Research Program and her work with cardiac research and mitral valve repair. As part of the science research class, she spent months contacting researchers and scientists from all over the world and asking if she could help with their research. The struggle to find a willing researcher was no match for this two-sport varsity athlete. Ultimately, she found not just one, but two mentors focused on mitral valve disease. With one mentor, she contributed to a published review article exploring the inheritance aspect of mitral valve prolapse. The following summer, with her other mentor, she helped design an authentic study conducted on mechanically induced regional fibrosis. That sounds difficult. As impressive as her work was with science research, this student athlete's work did not stop there. She has done remarkable service at Blightdale Children's Hospital and Northern Westchester Hospital. While there, she created COVID-related videos for teens focused on alleviating the stress of the pandemic. This student also spearheaded a charge to create videos and thank you cards for frontline hospital workers. Her outreach was even recognized by the St. Vincent's Hospital in Harrison, New York, as she was the winner of their prestigious Volunteer Service Award for New York area students who engage in outstanding and meaningful service to others. Somehow, she does all this while playing two varsity sports and maintaining outstanding grades. The sure-handed shortstop for 4 years on varsity softball, on the varsity softball team is a super dependable in every way. As a tennis player, I can tell you from my own experience, she was the best third singles player in all of Section 1. Her mental toughness and her perseverance was no match for those she opposed on the tennis court. As a captain on the tennis team this fall, she helped the team to win a state championship. What a way to end an athletic career. She is a winner in every way, both in the classroom and on the court. And I always speak for all that know her when I say that this student athlete will be missed by all of us here at Byram Hills. Please join me in congratulating this year's Lynn Rosenthal Memorial Scholar Athlete Award winner, Sydney Levy.
All right, well, Coach Raccanelli stole my thunder. I was going to congratulate everybody, too. So I'm just going to piggyback off of that and say congrats. But how cool it is to see everybody here. It's been about a month since I last saw the seniors in class, and just so cool to get to celebrate this with you, really for one of the last events at school. So, again, congratulations. All right. Next, award winner, right, for the William A. McCoy Jr. Memorial Scholar Athlete Award. We have Jack Blackmore. Jack, I'm going to talk about you. So hold on. All right. So, the scarcity of the true scholar athlete is a function of the limitations of the 24-hour day, human energy, and increasing academic and athletic demands. Training to excel in a sport and learning to master a scholarly discipline both require large amounts of time, effort, focus, and motivation. Needless to say, it's extremely difficult to maximize the development of both sets of skills without some personal sacrifice along the way. The Memorial Scholar Athlete Award recognizes an athlete who has excelled both academically and athletically and acknowledges their hard work and dedication in balancing athletics and academics. This year's recipient, Jack Blackmore, 4-year varsity baseball player, 2-year captain of the ski team, just such a great young man. This past spring, Jack was recognized as a grand prize winner in the 21st Annual Regeneron Westchester Science and Engineering Fair. His project was titled Keep Your Eye on the Ball, a comparative study of the visual tracking accuracy of baseball batters and non-athletes during knuckleball tracking. Pretty fitting project for a 4-year varsity baseball player. And as his teammates said, he was smart enough to conclude that his findings were inconclusive so that he could get another 4 years of hopeful grant money so he can come up with a conclusion. So Jack, good stuff there. His grand prize earned him a trip to Atlanta to compete at the Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair, the largest international science fair in the world. It brought together more than 1,800 science fair winners from over 75 countries. In addition to his science research exploits, Jack has taken a rigorous course schedule with 7 AP classes and has finished in the top 15% of his senior class. Somehow he still managed to find time to be active in the community by leading toy drives, food drives during the holiday season, lifeguarding, helping out at church, serving as a youth basketball coach. To say that Jack is a well-rounded individual is an understatement. On the baseball field, he was a team leader, he served as our cleanup hitter, and time again, Jack came through with clutch hits and big plays on both sides of the ball. However, his leadership skills were his biggest asset. He held himself and his teammates accountable and always demanded excellence. Jack also demonstrated leadership on the varsity ski team, where he was a 2-year captain and helped the team grow and improve through a coaching transition. So please join us in congratulating Jack Blackmore, this year's award recipient.
Close to the end of each regular season, Mr. Alcantara and I receive nominations from all of our varsity coaches that are in season for the Bobcat of the season. We select 2 student athletes from each season, and some of the criteria is good sportsmanship, respect for coaches, opponents, officials, and teammates, and playing with integrity and demonstrating the initiative to help the team in any way possible. The athletes of the season are, please stand when I call your name, and please stay standing. Fall season, Jillian Nichols, volleyball. Ross Eagle, soccer. Winter season, Olivia Barry, basketball. Justin Fortugno, wrestling. Quick side note for Justin, this year became the all-time win leader in school's history in wrestling with a record of 135 wins and 33 losses, top 5 in New York State. Congratulations. Spring season, Ethan Woland for tennis and Jessica Kahn for lacrosse. Congratulations to the athletes of the seasons. At this time, I'd like to invite to the podium Coach Jack Kenzel and Coach Andrew Dappolite to present the Leadership Award.
Hello, everyone. I'm Coach Jack, if I haven't met you guys yet. So this award was pretty easy for me to choose. Last year when I came in here, I asked Irene something that probably the last thing that she thought I'd ask. And that was, what do you think about from changing from defense to offense? And she said, I don't think I can do that. I've played defense my whole life. And but we needed someone who can carry the ball and score some goals. And as a defender, you know what they're trying to do, essentially. I always say, as an offensive player, it'd be very wise of you to listen to your defensive coach when they're speaking because they're giving you the answers, And I was reading this morning this book about the NFL and the AFL, and my grandfather was part of the merger of the NFL, and it tells a story. It says Jim Kensel, the PR guy for the NFL, and Pete Rozelle were going to meet in Washington with Lamar Hunt the day before the announcement. So they decided that they were going to go anonymously, put on sunglasses at LaGuardia Airport, wigs, registered under a phony name. Instead of taking a limo, they took a cab to be less ostentatious. They forgot to tell Lamar where to meet them. He knew he was supposed to be at the Sheraton in Carlton. Nobody told him it was the Ralph Pittman suite. As luck would have it, they met him in the lobby about the same time and figured out where to go. They went to the meeting room down the hall, and in 25 minutes they had the NFL. And to me, that's what we call the figure it out business. And Irene Burns is in that business. And what I mean by that is no matter what life throws at you, no matter the obstacles or the demands that your coach asks of you, you find a way. And Irene did that so much so, surpassing everything we asked of her, in scoring over 100 goals in 2 years, which is to ask someone to switch, from an entirely different part of the game and go that far in 2 years is remarkable. And lastly, just the things that she does for me that nobody sees. The reminders to the team, the information, the conversations, sometimes it's better off hearing it from a teammate than it is to coach. And I know that when Irene does that, it's going to be said the right way and done the right way and at the right time. And I just say, should it be said? Should it be said by me? And does it need to be said at all? And if that's the case, she's my go-to. So. And she's a large reason, for our special culture. And without her buy-in, along with Jess and Jamie and Sammy and all the seniors here tonight, all of you guys, without your buy-in, I'm sure the coaches would say that, we don't get to the places that we do. So without you guys, we're not all that great. So thank you, Irene.
And just to add to that, This past winter season, as a senior, Irene decided to join the winter track team as a way of conditioning for lacrosse. She had absolutely zero prior experience in the sport of track and field, but from the very beginning, starting with practice and the warm-ups during practice, encouraging the underclassmen, setting a positive example for our very young team. Before she even stepped onto the track for her first meet, she was appointed our team captain, a first in program history. I usually keep up on the other Byram sports, but I wasn't fully aware of all of her success in lacrosse. We and the other coaches who were new this year all reached the same conclusion, to appoint Irene as captain. And she quickly learned more about the sport, and she brought those same leadership qualities, the values and the positivity from lacrosse to our track and field program. So it's a pleasure to award her this distinction tonight. Irene, can you please come forward?
Thank you so much.
I'm a very big Anson Dorrance fan, someone I quote very often. Learned a while ago that winning games has a lot more to do with character and attitude and leadership than it does with talent. One of the things I always like that he does is that he sends letters to his players all the time, and one of the letters that he wrote to one of his players reminds me of our 2022 Leadership Award winner, Mr. Benny Rackhauer. He said, "It happens in a blink of an eye. In most games, there's a defining moment for a player that calls for him to do the extraordinary, to achieve the split second of success by sacrificing his body or exploding into a higher energy level. The question is, will he take that chance? Will he expose himself to success or failure? Or will he show up in that microsecond that allows him to both look good and still avoid that bone-chilling tackle? The ones who are willing to lay it on the line are the true champions of sport and the ones that are suitable for our program." 3 sports a season, 4 years. This entire coaching staff was able to glimpse Benny Rackhauer and his greatness. He was the one we could always count on to lay it on the line. His lacrosse coach, Michael Johnson, who couldn't be here tonight, said, "Being a leader, being named captain on a team is one of the greatest honors an athlete can achieve. In my 23 years of coaching, I've only met a handful of players that truly understand the significance of their responsibilities. He relentlessly pursued what was best for our team, and Bowden is getting a dominant player and a better man of character." Coach Ripa, who's right here, said, and I quote, "Love Benny."
Well done.
Thank you, sir. For me, Benny will be very hard to replace. I said this during the signing a couple weeks ago. It's not really about goals scored, statistics, or accolades. It's understanding how to play the game, how to give every aspect of his being into playing a sport. Before games, I would watch Benny warm up, and he would flirt with every single official who came down onto the field. They would know him by his first name. He would smile at them, he would joke with them. 30 minutes later, he would have one of these bone-crushing tackles on someone, most of the time highly illegal. And he would look at this official with a puppy dog face and his arm draped around him, and the ref would just calmly put his yellow card back in his pocket. He just had this calming, soothing effect that would resonate not only with adults, but with teammates as well. Benny never looked for the spotlight either. He always looked at the scoreboard, and usually it was his side that had won. Benny follows in the footsteps of his older sister, Elliot, his older brother, Griffin, who's here. We now graduate the finale of the Rackhauer family, and hats off to Barry and David for raising such an incredible leader. The 2022 recipient of our Leadership Award, Mr. Bennett Rackhauer. The major award for student athletes in Westchester County is the Edison Award. It's a weekly award that's given out 36 times over the course of the sports calendar, is voted upon by athletic directors across the county. The award has come to represent the highest achievement of successfully combining athletic prowess with academic scholarship. For the second time in our school's history, and the first time in 21 years, we had 4 winners this year who were nominated by their respective coaches, where the application was helped along by their guidance counselors, and ultimately submitted to this committee every week for consideration. We had an unbelievable year this year. We had somebody nominated for selection during 28 of the 36 weeks this year. Personally, we should have taken home more than 4 awards. Just a quick note, how Jack Blackmore did not win is beyond me. It's one of the strongest applications I've ever seen. Congratulations to him. He's definitely a Con Ed winner. But though we didn't win that, we celebrate our 4 winners tonight, whose resumes demonstrate a ton of volunteer work, credible GPAs, high test scores, along with sports achievement. Congratulations to our 4 athletes as they leave an outstanding legacy. We're going to ask that they stand up, and so they are recognized. First, Emory College bound Alyssa Margolin for tennis. Boston University bound Mr. Daniel Bernstein for basketball. Johns Hopkins bound Beth Corelli for basketball. And West Point bound Jared Cohen for baseball. You didn't really stand. That was kind of like, yeah. Oh. Jared Cohen, everyone. All right, tonight we have a guest speaker who traveled all the way here from Armonk. Emma Frooling graduated from Byram Hills, was a standout goalkeeper and senior year MVP for the women's soccer team, was also an all-section captain for the ski team here during the winter season. She took her talents to Ithaca College, where she was named the Liberty League all-academic team her junior year before her senior year and playing career ended due to COVID. It's what Emma has done off the field that displays an essence of perseverance and teamwork. Through her tenure in Ithaca, she majored in TV radio services with a minor in sports studies. She was an active member of the Ithaca College Television State Program and even interned at Fox Sports in California, where she was responsible for helping produce major events such as the Gold Cup and the World Cup. She's currently working on a Women Leaders in Female Sports as a producer, editor, and technical director as her focus. She plans on following her passion and dreams this September in moving to Los Angeles. Personally, I've known Emma to be so incredibly forthright, honest, respectful, but most importantly, she had no fear. She's a go-getter, and her passion is second to none. Ladies and gentlemen, Emma Frooling.
You really had me speak after Mr. Allen spoke twice, which I think is mean, but first I'd like to say congratulations. I've heard so many incredible things about this senior class, so I feel really lucky to be in your presence. I'd like to thank Mr. Castagna and the rest of the Byram Hills Sports Administration for inviting me to speak today. It's so special to be back here celebrating you athletes, especially after the past few years of craziness. You all deserve to be recognized. I'm sure you are, as I was, wondering what I'm up here to talk to you about. And truthfully, just 6 years ago, I was sitting in the same seat as you. So it feels slightly off to be the one on this side of the stage, but I'll try my best. To kick this off, I'll tell you a little bit more about my story. My life has revolved around sports since I was 2. I was skiing before I was walking and kicking a soccer ball for as long as I can remember, all the usual cliches. From a young age, being an athlete was my defining characteristic. Sure, I would do this, that, or the other, but on the field, or on the slope, or with my team is where I felt I most belonged. I would come as a little girl in an ASO jersey to watch the varsity girls soccer team with my family, and bug my mom to get me a team sweatshirt so maybe people would think I was on the team too. I think if they saw a 6-year-old walking around in a large sweatshirt, they'd figure it out for themselves, but that was besides the point. All jokes aside, teams were my guiding path through life. In the soccer world specifically, the road is pretty clearly laid out in front of you. ASO, next. Travel, next. Club, next. Modified, next. High school, next. Varsity, next. College, next. And that's when it hit me. College, next. ... No one really talks to you about what happens when you hit those ... And for a lot of you, that time is right now. I can stand here and promise you I get how you're feeling, but that's not going to change the fact that for most of you, that last game or competition felt like something was ending. Your whole life you had practice, a team, a routine, and not all of that is going to change. But I get it. It's daunting. You're athletes. You're proud to be athletes. But more importantly, you're a teammate. As mentioned, I graduated Ithaca College, where I played on the women's soccer team this past May. A year before graduation, COVID-19 broke out. I was sent home from school, as all my friends were, and told I would be back in 2 weeks. As we all know, that didn't go to plan, and we were told we'd be welcome back on campus in the fall. We had team Zooms and workout sessions. A couple of us that lived near each other found out that there was a field open for a couple of hours a week and got a league together of college soccer players itching for a game. We adapted and figured it out. We formed a team of our own at a time where meeting new people wasn't a common occurrence, and we all trained and played in preparation for that upcoming fall season. A month before school was supposed to start, my coach sent a text in our senior group chat saying that we had a Zoom meeting with our athletic director the following morning. The group chat went crazy and all of our stomachs dropped. The truth was, COVID hadn't gotten much better. We were still at major risk, and the likelihood was that final senior season wasn't going to happen. The next morning, all of our fears were confirmed. I remember going to the house and seeing my parents after the call. My eyes were red and swollen, and I looked them in the eyes and said, "Does this mean I'm not an athlete anymore? I'm just not on the team anymore, just like that?" To this day, it was the hardest pill I had to swallow. In one sentence, my whole life changed, and I know that sounds dramatic. That feeling doesn't change whether you realize it in a split second or you've had months to prepare. Of course, it wasn't even the worst thing that COVID could have taken from me, but on a personal level, it felt like I had lost my identity, not only as an athlete, but as a teammate. So I know I've said it a couple times, but I get what you're feeling. Warning, I'm going to be super cliche right now. Webster Dictionary's definition of a team is a number of persons associated together in work or activity. The broad definition allows you to realize that being on a team doesn't have to mean playing a sport or competing on a field, a court, or a mountain together. Once again, I'm putting myself in your shoes. I'm going back to that moment when I realized the truth was I technically wasn't on the team anymore. But in reality, the truth is you will always be a part of that team. In my experience, I had a bit of imposter syndrome. I watched some of my class go back to play that 5th year, to live out that final season, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel like I was supposed to be on the field next to them. But you figure out your own way, how to take your experiences you've had and shape them into your future. Yes, I had missed being a part of the Ithaca women's soccer team, but I had also become a part of a couple of new teams. They looked a bit different, and the challenges weren't the same, but they were teams, and I once again found myself being a teammate. So here's the truth, laying it out right in front of you. No matter how hard you try, you're never not going to be part of a team. I'm not speaking about joining adult leagues and dusting off your gear from time to time, which I've done and do recommend doing. They're super fun. But these teams look a bit different. In college, I studied television production. I can stand here confidently and say that a television production team is one of the hardest working teams I've ever been a part of. No, we don't get up to run sprints at 6 a.m. or lift weights. We don't fight until the last second in overtime or hold a teammate back after a bad call. But the truth is, teams don't always look like that. We have to take the wiring in our brains that places teams in jerseys and under the lights and rewire it to see that teams naturally form in front of our eyes every day. How many people here have had a job, have had coworkers? Did those coworkers fill in from you from time to time, pick up a shift when you couldn't, help you out on a project you were leading? That sure sounds like a teammate to me. And according to the Webster Dictionary, that is a number of persons associated together in work or activity. I can say with 1 year of experience out of college, which I know is not a lot, that my coworkers and I are most definitely a team. I was offered an opportunity post-graduation to work with a nonprofit called Women Leaders in College Sports as their creative services intern. I'm not sure how many people here have worked with nonprofits, but it's a challenge. Then make the nonprofit about getting more women in the sports world to influential positions, and I can't, there's nothing to say. Over my year at Women Leaders, I faced more challenges than I had in my entire athletic career. And unlike some athletic challenges, I couldn't just practice and hope to get better on my own. I had to lean into the idea that the people working around me, the expertise that they had in their fields that I didn't, were necessary to solving these problems. The company worked like a well-oiled machine, but even machines break down from time to time. We used to joke that our company was building the plane as we were flying it, much like a team may do throughout the season. But the truth is, without the people building and the people guiding and the people directing, the plane wouldn't have even made it off of the ground in the first place. There's a lot of visuals being thrown around here, planes and championships and everything else. So let me get back to the main point of what I'm trying to say. You may be sitting in those seats today as seniors feeling like your career as a teammate is over. But the truth is, without the experience as a teammate that I had as an athlete, I wouldn't be half the coworker I am in the workplace or half the friend I am in my day-to-day life. There's a reason sports is something almost everyone resonates with at some point in their life. Sports gives you something or someone to root for. The realization I slowly came to over this past year is that doesn't just apply to the sports world. I am constantly rooting for those around me, whether it's a friend that is challenging themselves to something new, or a coworker who is pushing the boundaries of what their company and their position can accomplish. There's always someone who needs a teammate that has their back. In the end, it all comes down to one true fact. Everything in your life takes teamwork, whether you like it or not. So going forward in every interaction, whether it's a hello on your college campus or the most important moment of your life, remember that you're a teammate, and the people around you are on your team. It seems fitting that Vince Lombardi is the person who closes out this chat. So in his words, individual commitment to a group effort, that is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, a civilization work. Thank you and congratulations, seniors.
This year, we launched our inaugural season for unified basketball. If you were able to catch one of our games, I'm sure that you would agree with me that it was a huge success. The students and the coaches had a blast playing and practicing. At this time, I'd like to call up our coaches, Coach Carpenter, Coach DeRosa, and Coach Giesman to present two very special awards.
Now, Emma, I actually think it's pretty unfair following you, all right? Although you did go to Ithaca. SUNY Cortland joke. As Mr. Castagna just said, this past year, Byram Hills launched its first ever unified basketball team. And thanks to the efforts of our administration, parents, teachers, coaches, specifically Coach Giesman and Coach DeRosa, fans, and most importantly, the student athletes, the unified basketball season was a tremendous success. We would like to recognize two of our seniors at this point in time who both did a tremendous job in leading our team. Rachel Scaffidi was the heart and soul of our basketball team. Rachel worked extremely hard at every practice and was one of the most active defenders that I have ever coached in any sport. She has an unrelenting passion for helping others and took pride in the role of playing great defense, setting screens, and being the positive force that we needed in all situations. Over the course of the year, Rachel worked on her craft and became an offensive threat as well as a game stopper on defense. Rachel also participated in our cheer team and put as much effort into supporting her teammates during cheers as she did on the court during games. Alyssa D'Annunzio showed a tremendous amount of leadership and teamwork throughout the course of the season. She flat out has a gift for shooting a basketball and displayed that for opposing teams and fans to watch with delight. Once Alyssa got into a groove during a game, it was almost guaranteed that the ball was going in the hoop. Over the course of the season, she also developed into a great facilitator and did a great job passing to and involving teammates during practices and games. One of my favorite moments of the season was when in our last game at Mayapack, when things were not going well for Alyssa and some of her shots weren't going in. Coach DeRosa did a great job encouraging her on the side, letting her know it was okay, and just to keep shooting. Alyssa took the court in the fourth quarter and set it on fire. Her ability to respond from earlier setbacks was nothing short of inspiring and a reminder to all of us that it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our honor to present to you the 2021-2022 Bobcats of the Year Award to Rachel Scaffidi and Alyssa D'Annunzio.
Good evening. I'm Jared Christian. I'm the head volleyball coach. I'm up here with John McNamara, head softball coach. And we're here to present one of the Courage Awards tonight. In a high school athlete's career, there are many moments where courage can be demonstrated. Certain situations require things that cannot necessarily be taught, but are inherently innate and are displayed on the court or field. Maybe it's being behind in the count as a batter or down 2-0 in a 5-set match. The situation really doesn't matter. It's the response to it that does. Regardless of the situation or circumstances this athlete was presented with, the demonstration of courage was clear. We, as her coaches, got to witness and admire this as she competed for us during her time at Byram Hills. She was a 4-year varsity softball player, a 3-year varsity volleyball player, where she was named All-League 2 times, was awarded the MVP in 2021, and was selected as Bobcat of the fall season. This Courage Award goes to Jillian Nichols. Congratulations, Jill.
Courage. Courage is what replaces weakness with strength, complaints with change, and confusion with direction. For all of our athletes, and in particular, a long-distance runner, courage reveals itself on a daily basis as we confront the unique challenges of our sports. This year's recipient of the Courage Award is a 2-sport varsity athlete, cross country in the fall and spring track in the spring, and he has revealed a tremendous amount of courage in a few different ways. Most people would agree that anyone who subjects themselves to the rigors of distance running, long intervals on the track, 3-mile races through the woods with no visible finish line, in all sorts of weather conditions, possesses a great deal of strength, courage, and mental toughness. But this individual, who I first met 3 years ago as a quiet, soft-spoken sophomore, found his voice. He had the courage to take on a leadership role on our very young team. As a captain, he constantly advocated for his fellow teammates and was eager to see them succeed. He had plenty of his own success. I nicknamed him the personal record king last fall because in just about every cross-country meet, he would shed up to 3 minutes off his 5K time in dramatic fashion. Always with a hard kick, he fought through pain and discomfort with what became his trademark collapse at the finish line. He wasn't exaggerating. He would leave it all out there on the cross-country course. No regrets. He had the courage to try his best, to empty the tank, as we often say in running, even if it meant falling short on occasion. He had the courage to fail. Whether it be injury or illness, this athlete had the courage to persevere and try new things. He welcomes new possibilities, including learning how to pole vault in order to score points for the team in the league championship. Pole vaulting and distance running usually do not go hand in hand, and I'm speaking from my own experience. I tried both. I have had the pleasure of working and coaching this year's Courage Award recipient for a combined total of 6 seasons. There will be a deep void in our program next year that will only be filled by the other boys who he helped inspire. Please join me in congratulating Owen Kenny.
Hello. My name is Julia Marinero. I'm up here with Coach McNamara, and we're also representing Coach Tara Ryan, who could not be here tonight. I just want to reiterate a message that has been said numerous times, that I want to thank the seniors. Again, whether I coached you or not, you have a big job when you become a senior. You have all these freshmen, 8th graders, underclassmen that look up to you. You're their role models. Next year, you become the underclassmen again. As you keep going through the ropes, remember that young eyes are watching you, and you help to pave the path to those that come behind you. This year, Coach Ryan and I, and Coach McNamara, have the privilege of giving out 2 Arete of the Year awards. Congratulations to Beth Corelli and Olivia Barry. Both of these players have been undeniably dedicated to both basketball and soccer, showing up during the off-season, keeping a flawless attendance record, and doing everything possible to make themselves and their teammates better. Olivia, the path you were on this year was not an easy one. Coach Ryan and I were so impressed with Olivia's mindset. Despite injury, she pushed through to prove to both her coaches and her team how valuable of a teammate she is. During the ups and downs of our seasons, we saw that her teammates could turn to her, showing that she is the glue that holds the group together. She has been part of enough winning teams to know that true learning comes from the failures in games, practices, or drills, and that when she takes the time to break down situations to make sure the team understands the goal. This is leadership at its finest. Olivia's motivation for the game, her respect towards others, her confidence in herself, and her coachability make her an ideal player and a deserving Arete Award recipient. To earn the Arete Award, a player must display their personal best at both practices and games. For Beth, there are no off days, no missed games, no overlooking a scout. Whether she was working out during the off-season, watching film to prepare for her next match, or writing pre-game motivational speeches and dances, Beth was always seeking out ways to be her best self and the best teammate. Between both soccer and basketball, Beth has been a member of league championship teams, section finalists, 1,000-point scorer, league MVP, 2-time all-section nominee, and a Con Edison winner. In addition to being a strong athlete, Beth is a compassionate young woman who cares deeply for family and friends and has a strong moral and ethical compass. We are so excited to see her continue to excel as she takes her place on the court at Johns Hopkins. Congratulations to Beth and Olivia.
Good evening. My name's Simon Burke. I have the pleasure of presenting the award along with Coach Scott Saunders. When you hear about all the seniors being honored tonight, it's hard to think about, what makes certain individuals stand out. And I was preparing notes tonight about Jared. I started thinking about, talented individuals in athletics and academics and every career path you're going to find. Talented individuals are ubiquitous. People with grace, character, leadership traits, and willing to do what others won't are rare and deserve celebration. On the way in tonight, it's appropriate I caught Jared in the parking lot, and we quickly started talking about books, and we talked about what sets great people apart. And we started talking about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and we started thinking about it costs what it costs, and it takes what it takes. If you want to be excellent, you have to be relentless, whether it's practice, whether it's games, whether it's the classroom, whether it's serving and defending your country. Jared Cohen is a unique individual, and I clap him tonight.
Well, as Coach said, Arete literally means greatness. In his book, Legacy, renowned author James Kerr explored lessons of greatness from the New Zealand All Black Rugby Association and their history of success. Through their history, the All Blacks hold a 77% lifetime winning percentage, which is the highest of any professional sports team in history. The question is, how does such a small island nation do this against larger countries with greater resources? In the book, Kerr wrote about one of the key principles for success, sweeping the sheds. Sweeping the sheds is a tradition that literally means cleaning out the locker room after a practice or a match, but it means so much more to the team members and the organization. They describe sweeping the sheds as a way of life. It says that no individual is bigger than the team and its ancestors. Everyone is responsible for the smallest of details. It teaches you not to expect things to be handed to you. If you have personal discipline in your life, and you're going to have more discipline on the field. When I first read that book during the whole world pause in 2020, I immediately thought of Jared. He's the type of student athlete that lives his life by a certain code, and he takes responsibility for himself and his teammates. I remember when the season was canceled in 2020, Jared was beside himself, but he wouldn't be derailed. He went down to Georgia. He trained for the next 4.5 months while everything else in the world was on pause. He came back a different person, more focused, structured, more determined than ever. I was fortunate enough to coach Jared for 5 years. I met him as a cocky, immature, yet talented 8th grader. Over the duration of his career, I've seen him mature into a leader of young men and women, develop humility, and put others before himself. He transformed into a selfless young man driven by his code. He had quite the career: 2-time All-Section, 2-time All-League, Edison Award winner, the winner of the prestigious Golden Dozen Award in football, the prestigious Diamond 9 Award in baseball, which are given to the top 12 football players and top 9 baseball players in Section 1 for their excellence on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. These leadership traits will serve Jared well when he leaves later this month, literally this month, to join the United States Military Academy at West Point. He will be pushed to the brink physically, mentally, and emotionally, but I have the greatest confidence that Jared's ability to sweep the sheds, much like the All Blacks, will position him for a lifetime of success in the military, in baseball, and beyond. So Jared, one last time, all right? Thanks for your service, pal. Here's my dismiss. Thank you. Come on up. It is my pleasure to announce our next student speaker, actually our first student speaker of the night. We have soccer superstar, basketball superstar, Con Edison Award winner, future Johns Hopkins member, and most importantly, a phys ed legend with Beth Corelli. Come on up, please.
So I've been asked to share some thoughts tonight about my experiences playing high school sports here at Byram. And in preparing to speak, I tried to think about things that are hopefully universal to all of us senior athletes. So I was able to narrow it down to 3, and the first one being leadership. Whether or not you are a captain of your respective teams this year, being a senior placed you in a role of leadership and responsibility. Although people often think of leadership as simply providing guidance to a team or group of people, I think we all have learned that it is so much more. We learned how important it is to set an example for the underclassmen. We learned the importance of picking up a teammate after a missed shot or a rough game. We've learned the importance of offering guidance to someone who is struggling either on or off the field. We have come to appreciate the value of discipline, hard work, and leading by example. Finally, we have learned the importance of putting the team first, and at the end of the day, being fully invested in the success of our peers. We learn these things from the examples set by our parents, coaches, and former teammates. What I would like to specifically touch upon is that these skills in leadership, whether we realize it or not, will inevitably help us to flourish in the collegiate atmosphere that will take part in next year. The second thing I'd like to talk about are friendships formed through athletics. And I'd like to relate a brief anecdote that highlights my point. So for those of you who don't know, I have a sister named Grace. She's a sophomore, and she plays varsity basketball and soccer with me. So it's our senior game for soccer, and we're walking down the turf to get our picture taken. And my parents are with me, and of course Grace is there. So I'm looking around, and I genuinely thought I was gonna start getting upset and crying, but then I looked to my right, and Grace is bawling. So yeah, I felt bad for Grace in the moment, but it was fine. So Grace couldn't make it tonight, so thankfully this story won't embarrass her too much, but my reasoning for sharing this is the unbelievable bond that sports has allowed me to not only make with my sister, but with many of my teammates as well. Sports has allowed me the opportunity to cultivate different friendships, share experiences, both successes and failures, and to build a common bond. I'm sure many of you can relate to this in the sense that high school sports has brought you a myriad of invaluable friendships and bonds that will last a lifetime. And ultimately, these relationships built during athletics at Byram are something we will always treasure. This leads me right into my last and most important takeaway from high school sports, and that would be the importance of gratitude. We all have a tremendous amount to be grateful for growing up and living in this privileged community. We have a constant and relentless support system through our teachers, coaches, and parents who have tirelessly worked to support our athletic ambitions. As we've learned during the last 2 crazy years of COVID, simply having the opportunity to step on the field or court and compete is something we will never again take for granted. We are all truly blessed, and I know I have heartfelt gratitude for all of the efforts that went into making these years at Byram so special. The encouragement and dedication to all those who have helped us through must be recognized, and we have to ultimately understand our successes are not our own. They are shared by everyone who has helped us along the way. So I leave you with these 3 things: lessons learned in leadership, which will serve us as we move on to college, friendships that were built, strengthened, and will last a lifetime, and gratitude for everyone who has supported us along the way. Thank you for your time, and best of luck to everyone.
Beth, thank you very much. Leadership, friendship, and gratitude, 3 very important things. Thank you for sharing that with us tonight. At this time, I would like to introduce or call back to the podium Coach Jack Kenzel and Coach Raccanelli to present the Sportsmanship Award.
All right. I'm very excited about this award because it's so well deserved, and it's an award that made me reflect, on our success as a team and how much Chloe Siegel has contributed to that and that buy-in that I talked about earlier. When I found out that Chloe was going to be winning this award, for whatever reason, it led me to think about a quote by Kobe Bryant that I think Coach Saunders just brought up. And it's, win or lose, the process stays the same. Meaning, whether we win the game or not, the next day we still show up and we go to work. And we still show up and we still work as hard as we can, and we do the things that we need to do to reach our next goal. Most teams, when they write their list of goals, it starts with winning titles and championships. Ours starts with leaving the bus cleaner than we found it. Ours, start with not leaving the field until the sideline looks better than we got there. Walking in 2 lines, so no matter where we go. And it's our main goal is winning the sponsorship goal, so winning the sponsorship award for Section 1, which we've been nominated for this year. Chloe has this way about her that reminds me of John Gordon, a motivational speaker, says you don't have to be great to serve, but you do have to serve to be great. And Chloe represents what I believe greatness is, and I think true great players and people in general make everyone around them better. They inspire others to be great. They inspire, the way Chloe was it didn't matter if it was a preseason practice in the upper gym or it was a walkthrough for a playoff sectional. The work and the effort that she was putting into it was 110% unwavering every day, to the point where I had to slow her down sometimes and be like, Chloe, we have a game tomorrow. First time in a decade that we're going to be there, so, let's relax. But that's how she is, and that's the only thing she knows, and she's inspired 23 other, people who can win this award on our team. And thanks to her, we have a lot of young players that we're fortunate enough to learn from her. So she's not able to be here with us tonight, but I'm so proud of Chloe and all the things that she's overcome, her vulnerability, her ability to command her and her just ability to show up, do the work, no matter the outcome, and inspire all those around her.
Chloe's not here, but I know her parents are here in the audience, and knowing them quite well and obviously Chloe just as much and better. She is a special athlete, and Amy and Eric, although Chloe's not here, you did an amazing job raising an amazing person. So great job, Always see hope.
Former Dallas Cowboy coach Barry Switzer once said, "Some people are born on third base and go through life thinking they hit a triple." And that's a commentary about how entitlement sometimes places us in a certain position. We kind of forget to understand what it takes to get there. Last summer, the boys soccer team held a series of practices on the turf field. Impromptu, just a little gathering, 6-on-6, 20 or so boys playing. Right around the beginning of tryouts, maybe the week before. And on the track is our Sportsmanship Award winner, Mr. Ross Eagle. Ross is just running. People are playing soccer. Ross is running. Ankle weights strapped on, lap after lap after lap. Turn to Nico. Nico, why isn't Ross playing? Player's response, he's injured. Hip injury. I've been counting, he's on lap 14. He's out working all of you. We should all be injured like Ross Eagle. Pinched nerve in his hip and he's running 5-minute miles around the track with ankle weights. Watching him made me tired. I needed Gatorade, watching you running around the track. In this case, Ross is not standing on third base due to entitlement. He's on third base because he hit a single and he legged it to third base. He's running fast with his bright fanny pack leading the way. It's a Merce. Sorry, Irene, it's a Merce. You'll see it when it comes up here. It's brilliant. You better wear it up here. Ross understands what it takes to get to the next level. Not just the next level in sports, as he's taking this 2-time all-section and all-state self to Hamilton College, but most importantly, how to raise others up to his level personally. There were countless amount of times where Coach Skonieczny and I showed up at the field and Ross was leading a practice. With a smile mixed in with determination, he would lead drills, getting everything started early. At one point, I remember Coach S turning to me and saying, "Why are we even going to practice today? We're 10 minutes late, and Ross is doing a better job of leading than we are." Literally that day, Coach S and I sat in the stands and watched Ross lead practice for an hour. This is just simply what he does. There's a ton of awards we could have given to you tonight, Ross. Leadership, courage, Arete, captain, all-star, whatever. No award on your shelf is needed to tell you how incredible of a young man you truly are. No words we could ever say will measure up to how this coaching staff and this community feels about you. We're completely honored to be blessed with your presence, and I firmly believe that your name here has become an adjective for greatness. Most importantly, though, we treasure how much of a sportsman you are and how you've handled yourself throughout the process. Your 2022 Sportsmanship Award winner, Mr. Ross Eagle. Before I introduce our next speaker, it's a Chinese proverb that says the seniors plant the trees so that the others can play in the shade. There's a lot of seniors here tonight that are not receiving awards, and you guys are still sitting here. I'll be honest, I taught a lot of you guys in AP and in psychology, and you're one of the best in your classes. I cannot wait to see you guys walk. I really can. Congratulations to all of you. Can I have all the seniors just stand up just to say thank you? Congratulations, really, to all of you. Now I get to call up our second speaker, student speaker. He's a future BU Terrier studying political science. Coach, I have down one of his grades here. I'm not allowed to mention grades at all. You told me no grades. Average ACT score is a 20. I won't say his grade out loud, but it's a 20. The average grade's a 20. Daniel Bernstein, come on up here.
Hi. For each of the last 2 seasons, there we go, I played varsity basketball and baseball. Last week, when Mr. Castagna approached me about giving this speech, I immediately accepted. Not only because I love to hear myself talk, but also when he told me the theme for tonight was teamwork, I felt like I knew exactly what to say. Teamwork is about knowing your role on a team. In basketball and baseball, we say it all the time. Everyone has a role to play. Know your role. It gets repetitive how much we say it, but it could not be more true. Everyone has a role. This year, my role in basketball was to play 30 minutes a game and take more shots than I probably should have, but this was not always the case. Just last year, my role could not have been more different, but I still made a great impact on the team. Last year, I was the team hype man, a member of the bench mob. My role, along with Benny, Michael, Gavin, and Sean's, was to bring energy to the team, and we were good at it. We knew our roles really well. During practice, we would get better, but it was also our job to get the starters better. And by the time the game rolled around, we knew we weren't getting in, so we had to find another way to help the team. That season, I could not have had more fun. Whether it was making elaborate bench celebrations, or watching YouTube videos about other potential bench celebrations, or watching film on the other team so we could help call out plays to the starters from the bench, we helped our team win. We took pride in our role on our team, and each and every game, it was our goal to beat the other team's bench. We knew we just had to wait our turn to play this year, and when it was our turn, we all played big minutes for this successful team. Teamwork is about becoming a family with your teammates. After each sports season ended, we were asked to fill out a survey. One of the questions on the survey was, what was your favorite moment from the season? Now, you may think my favorite moment from the basketball season might have been a game where I scored a lot of points, or maybe one of our 2 comeback wins in the playoffs. But none of these were my favorite moments from the season. My favorite moment came right after our loss versus Poughkeepsie in the semifinals. After the game was over, we all sat in the locker room, and people started trickling out one by one until it was just the seniors left. We hung out for a while, and then after Dry left, I went back up to the gym with Benny, Bobby, and Michael. We took a few shots, and then each made our last half-court shots like we would do at the end of every practice. After that, we just sat in the bleachers and talked and joked and reminisced about this season and the season before and every season since we started playing together in 4th grade. Coach Saunders always says in baseball, even if you're going on to play in college, it won't be the same. There's something special about playing with the same guys, some of your best friends that you've played with since you were little. Even though I won't be going on to play college sports, I can definitely attest to the fact that playing with the same guys year after year after year is something very special. Teamwork means putting other teammates before yourself. You don't need to be the best at something to make a great impact. Sometimes the shots just won't fall or you won't be seeing the ball well at the plate. But if you're great at the things you can control, such as energy, effort, and attention to detail, you'll make a great impact on your team. I've learned so much from being a part of a team, and I've learned more from my coaches and teammates. And I know I'll carry the lessons that I've learned from my coaches and teammates for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Danny, thank you very much. And once again, you know, we're hearing about team, and everybody achieves more, right? And when we hear that, Emma, Beth, Danny, the coaches, it's true, it's there. And for what you just said, I hope for everybody in this room, every student athlete in this room, every senior, that you hold on to this, you hold on to these relationships, because later in life, when you have your happy moments, you're going to want to share them with the people who are in this room right now. And when you have a sad moment, you're going to need the people in the room right now. That's a fact. So remember that, please. Okay, at this time, we're getting towards the end of our program, and I am going to ask Coach Racanelli to come back up here and present another award.
This year's Female Athlete of the Year can be described as strong, dominant, and someone with great perseverance and a willingness to work harder than her peers. This player finished her 4-year varsity tennis career as the most decorated female tennis player in Byram Hills history. Spanning 4 seasons, she amassed an astounding 40-1 win-loss record. She received all league recognition in all 4 seasons, and she received all section honors in all 4 seasons on varsity as well. Looking back on her remarkable career is quite amazing. As a freshman, she recorded a 12-0 win-loss record. At the end of the season, this player, with her older sister, who is actually in the audience with us, who was also on the team, decided to team up during the postseason and enter the New York State Doubles Championships. In just her first season on the team, she and her sister finished in 3rd place at states. It was the highest finish at the state championships for any female tennis player in Byram Hills. That is quite a way to start your high school career. In her sophomore season, she earned the top spot on the team and played #1 singles, where she finished with an 11-1 record. For the postseason, she again teamed up with her sister. The dynamic duo made yet another historic run at the state doubles championships, this time tying their previous school record with a 3rd place finish. In her junior year was quite successful as well, as she recorded a 4-0 record at first singles during the season. Unfortunately, due to COVID, the team season was cut drastically short, as they only competed in 4 matches that season. Despite all of her past success, her senior year this past fall proved to be her best yet. Because of her accomplishments and dedication to sport, she was named captain of the team. Again, at the #1 singles position, she finished the year with an incredible 18-0 win-loss record. She ends her career on a 23-match win streak during the regular season. Impressively, she won 3/4 of those matches during the regular season with a score of 6-0, 6-0. I remember in one match, she defeated her opponent by just losing 2 points the entire match. It's ridiculous. Dominance in every way. With all of her postseason success in doubles with her sister, she wanted to try her hand at singles in her final season. Her results did not disappoint. With some stellar play and a relentless ground stroke attack, she went on to win the Section 1 singles championship without dropping a single set throughout the tournament. Having won the Section 1 tournament, she qualified for the New York State Singles Championships. In another incredible feat, she managed to finish in 3rd place at the States. As you might have guessed, her finish at the Singles Championships was the best finish for any female tennis player in Byram history. On top of all of the individual success, this player was able to help the Byram Hills tennis team to win the state championship over Friends Academy this past fall. The state championship was the first by any female team in Byram history. What a season, what a career. On a personal note, I simply won't be able to replace her skill set and dedication to the sport. The team and I will sorely miss her presence in the lineup. While you were moving on to play collegiate tennis down south, I can say it was one heck of a run here at Byram Hills. What you accomplished individually and what we accomplished as a team are memories and moments that will last forever in our hearts, no matter where life takes us. Just know that no matter where you are or what team you're playing on, or what career path you choose, I will always be here cheering you on. Please give a warm congratulations to this year's Female Athlete of the Year, Alyssa Margolin.
A few weeks ago, one of our assistant coaches asked me if Bobby Chicoine was the best player I've ever coached. At the time, I really wasn't prepared to think about it. I just wanted to enjoy the last few weeks of his greatness. But once the season ended, I had some time to reflect, and I realized just how good he really was. He leaves our program as a 5-year varsity player, helping the team to 2 section final appearances, 3 semifinals, 2 league titles, and an overall record of 62-29, good for a winning percentage of .681, which is ridiculous in baseball. From an individual standpoint, Bobby has become one of the most decorated athletes in school history. 3-time All-Section, 3-time All-League, 2-time League Pitcher of the Year. Earlier this week, the league reps from each league in Section 1, we met on Tuesday We voted on the Section 1 Pitcher of the Year, and Bobby was a unanimous choice, beating out an Ole Miss commit and an East Carolina commit in the process. Due to COVID, there hasn't been any All-State teams the last 3 seasons, but he surely would have gotten those accolades as well. He finished his career as the all-time leader in school history in pitching wins, strikeouts, innings pitched, and home runs. He did all of this despite missing his sophomore season due to the pandemic. And in all honesty, we never really let him hit when he was an 8th grader or 9th grader, so I don't know what I was thinking. But it's no wonder why Boston College recruited him. This season alone, he threw a no-hitter against league opponent Ardsley. He struck out 14 against Eastchester, a team that made it to the Class A final. He struck out 80 batters in 60 innings of work, and he batted over 400 with 30 RBIs in only 22 games. Down by a run in a first-round playoff game to defending champ Clarkstown North, Bobby crushed a double in deep center field, scoring Danny, scoring Jared in the process for the walk-off victory in dramatic fashion. On the basketball court, he was a 2-time All-League recipient, a 2021 COVID Cup champ. He helped lead the team to the 2022 semifinals, and he finished with close to 10 points per game and over 13 rebounds per game over the course of the last 2 seasons. Coach Allen, I also got a quote from Coach Ripa, and he said, "Love Bob." Coach Ripa also describes him as an unreal competitor, one of the toughest athletes that he's ever had the pleasure of coaching. Coaching Bobby for 5 seasons has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my career. I got to witness the development from a timid young man who couldn't catch a ball on the first day of tryouts into the fierce competitor that he is today. I got to see someone so determined to reach his goals, and the amount of hard work and sacrifice that he put into it was really special to see him achieve them. Bobby has earned every single accolade and accomplishment he's received, and we're proud to give him the Male Athlete of the Year award. So, Bobby, congrats, buddy.
Coach Saunders, you're awesome. Coach Ripa, we love you. Congratulations to all of our athletes. For those who are here, for those who could not make it this evening. Tonight, you're going to receive an email in a few minutes with a full athletic program booklet with all of the highlights for every senior in our program. You'll also receive an email, you'll also receive a notice that the montage will be on our website for you to get that and capture it and save it. And we were able to take some pictures here when the awards were presented. But we're going to have the media backdrop in the cafeteria. Ms. Cruz will come into the cafeteria with the camera to take pictures. We will stay to take pictures. I know some people had indicated they wanted to take more pictures later on after the event, and we can do that. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Congratulations to all of our student athletes, and thank you, parents, for your support. Thank you very much. Please drive home safely.